I'm Ginny Marvin. I'm the editor-in-chief at Search Engine Land, and welcome to SMX Next. I've been working in digital and search marketing for about 15 years and writing about digital and search marketing trends for the past 7. And so I've seen a lot, but nothing, of course, like any of us have experienced over the past few months. So today I'm going to talk about what we've learned and how we can emerge from this very challenging time as more nimble, smarter, and ultimately more successful search marketers. We've had to react to changing conditions faster than we ever thought possible. And lots of us have noted that COVID-19 is a trend accelerator. It has pushed forward things that have been in the making exponentially faster than any of us had planned. And so Satya Nadella had said this on the last Microsoft earnings call, that it saw 2 years of digital transformation among companies and its clients in the past 2 months. And we're seeing this digital acceleration in marketing as well. For one, the platforms themselves sped up their own product release timelines, particularly in e-commerce, as more shoppers were turning to online shopping amid COVID restrictions. So we saw the introductions of Facebook Shops and free listings on Google Shopping. Both of those were fast-tracked due to COVID. I was talking to Florian Litters, who's a Facebook ads expert on Search Engine Land Live a couple weeks ago, and he noted that COVID has pushed e-commerce forward by a couple of years based on these new rollouts and in terms of how consumers are now engaging with online shopping. And so we don't know exactly how things are going to flesh out, obviously, but certainly many of the habits that we've all formed in these past months are not going to disappear. So if we look at the alcohol industry, just as an example, so online booze buying soared during this time. Alcohol delivery services like Drizzly and Saucy had long struggled to gain awareness and traction. Until COVID, they had seen sales skyrocket. So we now know that it takes just a few times for us to do something a new way for it to be set in as a new habit. And so the folks at Drizzly and Saucy, they know that if they can get customers to buy 2, 3, 4 times from them, that will start to instill the habit of buying alcohol for delivery into kind of the regular habits, even after restrictions lift and bars and restaurants start opening again. And of course, machine learning and AI are accelerating fundamental shifts in the way that we work and the skills that we prioritize. So to understand kind of where we are now, I want to take a step back. And you remember how for years we were in the year of mobile? Well, and in 2013, Google introduced enhanced campaigns. I had just started working for Search Engine Land around that time. And it completely rocked the boat of every advertiser. And so basically, Google said, users are going mobile and we're going to force sites to get on board. And there was suddenly no way to easily advertise and market on Google without buying into mobile. And investing in mobile experiences, investing in mobile landing pages, and understanding that there was really no more choice. So the problem, though, was that while users were doing a whole lot more searching on mobile, they weren't buying or converting on mobile like they were on desktop. And there was no visibility into what that customer journey looked like. So enter cross-device conversion tracking, multi-touch attribution, a shift away from last click conversion measurement, and much more comprehensive discussions around customer journey mapping and full funnel campaign strategies. So now we're in a phase that I think is going to be an even bigger deal than mobile, and certainly it's predicated on mobile, but we are now in the predictive marketing era. And as with mobile, where we said for many years, this is the year of mobile, there's not going to be like one predictive marketing year. We're in this for a while, and we've already been in it for a couple of years. So, companies in various sectors have been using predictive analytics for many years for lots of things, like anticipating inventory needs, for pricing optimization, for fraud prevention, and many other things. So now Google and Facebook are leading the way in forcing marketers to get on board with automation. And this will sound familiar, but the algorithms know best is sort of the mantra of this ideal visualization of how automation is going to work. We all obviously know that there are lots of challenges to getting to ideal, and we are in no way there now. But thinking about this, there's no turning back. And so I do think about it in the way that we were forced to move forward with mobile. In the same way, we're forced to move forward and adopt machine learning and AI as part of our marketing fiber. So what do I mean by predictive marketing era? So campaigns are now being driven by data mining, algorithms that aim to predict actions and outcomes based on pattern recognition. And so search marketing specifically, if we look at just that aspect of our marketing efforts, it's no longer about just buying the right keyword at an efficient cost per click. Search is evolving from keyword buying to audience buying to predictive intent buying. Keywords and audiences play a role here, of course, but the platforms are now using data and algorithms to identify intent and predict or anticipate customer needs, behavior, and marketing outcomes. At least that's the design. So last year at Google Marketing Live, Prabhakar Raghavan, who's now the freshly promoted head of Google Search, talked about looking at two customer journeys side by side and being able to use AI to see the similarities and differences in those journeys. He said, we need to anticipate what consumers want and need. And so that's where things are headed. And not surprising, he added that Google is in a unique position to answer these questions. Making predictive marketing possible requires lots of data. And Google is sitting on 8 products with more than 1 billion users each. That said, it's not the only company with a whole lot of data and robust AI teams. You can rattle off any number of them. And really all of the ad platforms are working on this. So fully automated campaigns haven't completely taken over yet, but I think, we can start to see where things are headed. And with that, I will say that there are going to be a number of ways that we can add on our own controls, our own data, and we're already seeing things progress in that way as well. So step 1 in becoming a more successful PPC marketer in the predictive marketing era is learning as much as you can about how these AI and ML systems in the ad platforms are designed to work, and what we know about the signals they use, the benefits, shortcomings, their data thresholds, and the kinds of reporting and data that are not provided when using these tools. And, we need to be skeptical. It's still really early days. There are lots of unknowns, lots of questions to be asking. And these algorithms are not perfect. So one example I was thinking about this is, just because I follow my 14-year-old daughter on Instagram does not mean I want to follow all of her middle school friends too. And so Instagram continues to recommend that I follow a bunch of middle schoolers. And so Mark, if you're listening, I don't like this. I'm not going to follow them. But really it's a silly example, but it's one of those examples of how you can see that the intent behind the machine learning is to drive engagement in this way, to drive more followers. But the, understanding of the customer is missing in this case. So if you want to see, an idea of just how pervasive machine learning is in PPC now, we can look at Search Engine Land's main periodic table of PPC as a one way of visualizing this. So we color-coded this table to indicate where automation and machine learning are used either partially or entirely. So covering those up, every one of those solid squares is an element that uses machine learning. And it's really critical to dig into understanding how these elements work, and how they're designed to work, and how they, all the elements that kind of go into that, and where you can have insights and controls and be able to inform those systems to work to your advantage. And this includes audiences. Each of the smart bidding strategies function differently, and just fundamentally keyword matching and close variants. So Google's keyword matching uses machine learning to understand and determine intent. And while the matching has arguably gotten better, anyone who's looked at a search terms report knows that it's far from perfect and requires, continued monitoring and human intervention. And, automated smart shopping campaigns is another example. There are, a whole bunch of these automated campaign types. And a few weeks ago on Live with Search Engine Land, I spoke with Kirk Williams and Mike Ryan about the benefits and limitations of smart shopping campaigns and why both of them typically use them in tandem with traditional shopping campaigns, where they can get more data and the insights that come with using those traditional campaigns. And seasonal bidding in Google Ads is another example I just want to quickly touch on. So that is designed for quick, short-term promotions, and so it's not going to be a great tool to work for something like we saw with the sustained period of volatility during the peak COVID lockdowns in March and April. So machine learning and AI are now affecting where our ads are served, and this is particularly true of automated campaigns on Google, where we no longer have control over the types of surfaces that our ads are served on if you're running those campaigns, and there's no reporting on how each of those surfaces performed either. So if we look at the different Google campaign types, again, this is from our periodic tables of PPC elements report. Looking at those with the automated campaigns, algorithms are determining where and when your ads are showing. And Google is keeping that information from advertisers so that we don't try to make granular adjustments and instead look at the bigger picture. And this is a big change to warm up to. All right, so number two, in becoming a better, more successful PPC manager in the predictive marketing era is data ownership and data organization. And Brad Geddes had a really insightful comment on Live with Search Engine Land a couple of months ago. He said, a true trend we're seeing is that companies that had good data organization are doing better than those that didn't. So PPC pros are in position to help inform data strategy in their organizations. And I've been talking about this for a couple of years now. In so many ways, search marketers have been at the center of understanding how to use data to do better marketing and get better results. And that's organization-wide, not just within their search campaigns. So, looking specifically, though, at search data, it can be a bellwether of what's to come. Extreme example of this recently is if Amazon had paid more attention to the early increases in searches for masks and hand sanitizer at the end of February. So, how can you ensure that you have the systems and processes in place to catch those early indicators and be able to segment and activate in your own audience data quickly in your campaigns? How can you build more direct relationships with users and to get more control and insights, and also to help insulate you against the browser crackdowns on third-party cookies, which is going to continue to be a predominant conversation that we all have over the next couple of years. So that brings us to focusing on experiences, and this is going to be continuing to be critical. In the predictive marketing era, good experiences are prioritized by the algorithms, at least ideally. So last year at SMX Advanced, I talked about the relationship between branding and performance, and what this really gets at is experience. So the direct-to-consumer brands have put stark light on the importance of branding and experience on performance outcomes. And if you want to see your campaigns work harder for less, have a strong brand. Invest in your story, your ad creatives, your landing pages, your retargeting experiences, your funnel, and your visuals. Yes, we saw gallery ads go down. They're going to get shut down at the end of summer. But don't let that keep you from thinking about visual experiences, whether it's on video and YouTube or the new discovery campaigns that are now available to all advertisers on Google. So those image-driven ads run across YouTube, Discover, and Gmail feeds. And Google claims a combined audience of 2.9 billion across those feeds. And this is interesting because it's 2.9 billion, and you may know that Facebook claims a audience across its family of apps of 2.99 billion. And it's no coincidence that Google is touting this. They're really going after social budgets with discovery campaigns. So if you're not actively also working in social, be sure to talk to your social teams and start coordinating on these efforts, because Google says, explicitly that the ads that were activated or repurposed from social have done much better than those that kind of come out of a search or traditional display vernacular. All right, finally, one of the biggest shifts of performance marketers in the predictive marketing era is, we're so used to spending time deep in the weeds. And there's still a need to dive in, don't get me wrong, but it's also a time to start thinking bigger and think holistically. So it's a focus on revenue optimization rather than channel optimization, where we stop thinking about channel and start thinking by intent when we're thinking about crafting our campaigns and the experiences that we're creating for our audiences. And that's as basic as thinking about customers differently than prospects. And I know that sounds like obvious table stakes, but to really do this well takes strategic planning. It takes understanding of the audiences and their convoluted journeys to get to you and to stick with you. And, it's an understanding of what we can and can't control in these automated systems, and the data that we can use to augment those systems as additional inputs. And of course, it means keeping a constant eye on the business goals. So if we're not looking at the bigger picture, we can start to miss the interplay of our marketing efforts across different platforms, different channels, and undermine and discount their combined impact on the bottom line. And this may mean focusing on entirely new KPIs as North Star metrics. So conversions on demo requests, it's not a great North Star if those demos aren't converting into customers, much less sales qualified leads. ROAS isn't a great North Star metric because it doesn't indicate anything about actual profit. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't, think about using those as optimization, bidding optimizations in your campaigns. It just means to understand that they're not indicators of bottom line success. PPC marketers are on the cutting edge in this predictive marketing era, and it's really exciting, and they're really well positioned to rise within organizations. So think about the ways you can internalize predictive marketing into every aspect of your work, from the data that you're using, the experiences you create, and your understanding of how these systems are designed to function. And I'm going to dive into a lot of these topics later today on Live with Search Engine Land with Mike Henderson, who's a CMO at Surety Bonds, and Natalie Beretta, who is Senior Manager of Media at T-Mobile. So welcome to the Predictive Marketing Era. I hope you enjoy the rest of SMX Next. And now I'm going to hand it off to my colleague Katie Jordan for a quick announcement from Search Engine Land.
Thank you, Ginny. Awesome keynote. I hope everybody enjoyed that as much as we did. We just have a quick announcement for you all that we wanted to share from our team here at Search Engine Land. These are unprecedented times. Don't worry, we're not going to do that to you. What we are going to do, though, is let you know that in just over a month, the 2020 Search Engine Land Awards are going to be wrapping up, and we'll start our judging period. So all that means is you have a full month to pick your best campaign and show us what you've got, and hopefully you'll be able to be honored as one of the best in search from the past year. So here's what you need to do. Very simple. Number one, check out our categories. We have 17 this year, ranging from paid to organic, mobile, local, agency of the year, search market of the year, a bunch of options, see which one fits best. Number two, pick your best campaign. You have it in mind? Good. Number three, gather your data. We want your data to tell us a story about the work you did, the research you did, your successes, even your failures. Let us know and submit that in your application, which leads us to the next step. Submit online. You can use this link and get your application rolling. And from there, submit. The awards are here to honor the best in search from the past year. And here's what happens when you win. Number one, you'll get an announcement and coverage on Search Engine Land. Number two, you'll be a guest on Live with Search Engine Land. Maybe even Ginny will be your host. Number three, you'll get a digital winner badge to put on your site. It'll look just like this. So potential clients can check that out, and that'll be one of the first things they see when they hit your landing page, and that's a great way to set yourself apart. Number four, you'll have social media promotion to our over 650,000 followers on Twitter. And number five, you'll have a big boost to team morale. This is also a great way to reflect on a job well done within the past year. And then maybe you can all have a drink over Zoom together and celebrate your success. In the meantime, if you have questions, we want to know them. Please reach out to us. You can send us an email at awards@searchengineland.com and let us know if there's anything you don't get or you have questions about. We're here to help. Best of all, you may even come home with one of these bad boys. This is a karate trophy from when I was in high school, but you get the idea. We'll send you a gorgeous trophy to display proudly in your office for everybody to see. But I can lend this to you if you'd like. So join us for the 2020 Search Engine Land Awards. We can't wait to review your work.